Welcome aboard Tristan and Tommy's Runaway Railway. For your safety, please remain seated and enjoy the show. Welcome to Please Remain Seated, a theme park podcast hosted by two theme park enthusiasts that work for the industry in Orlando, Florida. In this show, we discuss various theme park news, ride reviews, various other fun topics, and more. However, today's episode is going to be one big episode about Disney's D23 conference, specifically the theme parks panel of it. There's a lot of stuff to cover. Tristan, how are you doing?
My mind is expanding with Disney announcements.
I know that there's so much that they announced at this and a lot of different reactions coming from everyone. So let's just jump into it.
Jump in.
All right. So the conference starts off with a performance by Jordan Fisher performing Happily Ever After, the song from the formerly acclaimed fireworks show at the Magic Kingdom. Josh tomorrow goes, "You guys remember this song? Remember where that's from? You know what? We're bringing it back right away." That's how he starts off the conference, letting us know that in 2023, Happily Ever After is returning to the Magic Kingdom.
Yes. Okay. Wow. That right there, you probably not hit the biggest one in my opinion, like at least the most exciting one. That came out of nowhere. So he said that the song would be back.
Yes, correct.
And that there would be a reimagined fireworks show.
Yes.
That's so I can't even begin to speculate what that actually means. If they're adding the song Happily Ever After to whatever we have now, I don't even remember what it's called, and then Enchantment, I think, right? Enchantment.
Yeah, Enchantment.
Or if it's going to be a different, like something similar to Happily Ever After, or if just Happily Ever After is straight up coming back.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like it's gonna be like kind of the old show, but like they're probably gonna add the Main Street projections and probably a few new songs, maybe a few songs switched out here and there. I know, like, aside from the song Happily Ever After, I just think the story is something that people gravitated towards. So hopefully the reimagined Happily Ever After is at least very close to the show that everybody loved before.
Yeah.
Like supposedly there had been surveys going out about, what people were thinking about the Disney parks, and like Disney pretty much had been aware about the disappointment of Enchantment. So this is a very pleasantly surprising announcement as well. So
Yes.
Next, Disneyland Paris, part of their 30th anniversary, a new stage show, Pixar We Belong Together, will debut at the Disney Studios Park. Sounds pretty cool. You gonna go out to Paris to check that out?
Nope. I would love to. And here's the thing, I'd love to go to Paris. Allison, my girlfriend, that's actually the number one park she wants to go to. I don't agree with that, but whatever. I'm sure we'll compromise and go to Paris. But
no, for sure.
However, no, I hopefully at some point.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of parks that I want to go to in Europe. Surprisingly, Disneyland Paris isn't at the top of that, but Tokyo Disney Sea and all. But anyways, let's go back to D23 because there's a lot to talk about here. This one, I feel like this one was kind of wow for us that Disneyland's Galaxy Edge is getting a Mandalorian and Grogu meet and greet. Not our Disney World here in Florida, but just Galaxy's Edge in California gets Mandalorian and Grogu.
It's one thing when they can have certain Marvel characters in their park because of the whole Universal Disney Marvel licensing dispute that's happening in Central Florida. But why aren't we getting these characters in Florida?
Like, what the heck? Like, we have the same exact land. No one else has the rights to Mandalorian. That is on the streaming service Disney Plus.
I know maybe people will speak out enough about it, and at D23 2 years from now they'll announce that we're getting.
Yeah, I forgot to even mention that. We were so excited to talk about this episode. This is the first D23 that they've had for theme parks since 2019, where they announced all the changes to Epcot that they're still working on. Which we're going to actually get to that a little bit later. But speaking of new characters coming to Disneyland California, a new Incredible Hulk in the quantum suit is going to be a meet and greet character at Avengers Campus.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Yeah.
The first thing that I thought when I saw the photo of it was, how can Universal use that same type of suit and to do a Shrek, like a big
Yeah.
Shrek.
God, if they were God, if Shrek 4D was still around, R.I.P. I mean,
Yep.
it's still a part of their lexicon, and I'm sure they can include it in a parade or something.
Uh-huh.
It is an interesting choice though, how it's Hulk in that quantum suit.
Yeah, I can only imagine that's from like kind of a logistical sort of standpoint to where like
Yeah,
how would they make a Hulk realistic in any other way other than
yeah,
really only showing.
yeah. No, that is fair. And
So
it is a massive Hulk. Like you see him next to Josh and Kevin Feige on stage. It just wow. Um, in another Avengers Campus news, they announced a new ride that's going to Avengers Campus. It's going to be, I don't think they said a name of it, but they said it's going to be a multiversal Avengers ride, and the main villain will be a variant of Thanos called King Thanos.
a
Eh,
variant. See, I didn't hear that part. A variant of Thanos. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and like the picture that they use of Thanos, he's wearing a crown and has a white beard.
So it's Bob Chapek.
Honestly, it kind of looks like Bob Chapek.
That's funny. Okay, wow, I'm interested. That's funny. We're already adding upgrades or
And the thing that's interesting to me is that they said this is going to be the third attraction of the land, and I'm pretty sure that they count the Mission Breakout as one of the attractions, even though that was there before Avengers Campus.
right.
And then plus they have Web Slingers. There's supposed to be a Quinjet attraction. I guess that just got scrapped.
That is how
Like,
they do it. They just never talk about it again.
yeah, because
So
like I remember, like I was really excited about that to ride a Quinjet into Wakanda. Although I am very curious what this new multiverse ride is going to look like. I mean, is there going to be multiple different experiences on it? They didn't give too many details other than it's going to be multiversal, and you have King Thanos as the villain of it.
yeah. Hey, I'm in. I haven't even been to Avengers Campus yet, but
Yeah, me neither.
I'm in.
Yeah. And this honestly might like Disneyland's getting a lot of love this expo. This might be the thing I'm most jealous of. They are reimagining their Pacific Wharf area as San Francisco from Big Hero 6. I screamed when they announced that. Like, are you kidding me? They literally just got Avengers Campus. They're getting Mandalorian and their Galaxy's Edge, and now they're getting a Big Hero 6 themed area with a Baymax meet and greet. What the heck? That is so rude. I mean, I don't think they announced a ride for it. I don't think they're actually doing that. I think they're just theming the area after San Francisco.
Mm.
Um, but still, like, I love Big Hero 6. That
I
is
know
so
you
rude.
do.
Yeah, you
I
know I
know.
do.
Apologize for my dog whining. Of course, 6 minutes into this, he starts whining already. Well, don't worry, Tommy, because I'm sure we'll get to this later, but we're going to be possibly getting some land changes, updates, teardowns.
Oh yeah,
I
yes
don't
we
know
will. We're gonna get to that in a little bit.
here in Florida. So we will, yeah, we'll get to that. What's next on the list?
Let's see here. Something about upgrades to the Paradise Pier Hotel. Do we care about that? I honestly
No.
don't even care about that. Something about downtown Disney over there. They're getting some popular place that's whatever the hell.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Din Tai Fung.
yeah.
Uh, Allison is dying to go to a Din Tai
Okay.
Fung. So we're going to
Awesome.
have to go there.
Also, Porto's Bakery.
Yeah.
Guess that's a staple of California. Going to downtown Disney in California. And then, of course, the Run Disney races are returning to the Disneyland Resort in 2024. So, of course, they showed off a little bit of what the updated Toontown is going to look like with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. They did say their Runaway Railway isn't going to be an exact clone of ours. They did say it was going to be slightly different. They didn't, talk about what differences are going to be, but
I
it's
know
not
the
going to be.
difference.
Oh, wait, you do?
Yeah, they're not tearing down a beloved attraction to put it in.
Yes, and they're not destroying the entire message of the park, which, speaking of destroying entire messages of the park, we'll get to that later.
All right, so for your next one, just read it as if I'm here. I have to give my dog a treat.
Okay, fantastic. While Tristan's reading, giving his dog a treat, they talked a little bit more about Tiana's Bayou adventure. We already know that this is coming late 2024. They already announced this before D20 D23, and they I guess brought people on stage to talk about it. People who are working on the attraction and with the movies. One of the things that I remember that they discussed during this part of the panel was how the ride is going to use new technology for different effects. Like they're going to have water projection effects. That's like kind of the one thing that I remembered from that. So that is going to be pretty interesting. I know we've talked about Tiana's Bayou Adventure a lot in the show. I'm very excited for the update. For some reason, it's been very controversial online, and which I understand. It is a very old school, beloved attraction. But then people go, I'm not going to get too into it. It's going to be a really cool ride. I am excited. I'm very excited to see what the updates are going to be. They also mentioned that there's going to be 16 new characters. Of course, the story of the ride is going to take place after the initial movie. Tristan, did you have any thoughts on what they talked about with Tiana's Bayou Adventure during the panel?
I think no.
Yeah, not
Uh,
really, because I
Did
feel like
they
the
announce anything really new about it?
I don't think they did during the panel. I think they even said before the panel, like before this one, about new characters joining the ride. The one thing that I do remember is like they were gonna have some updated effects like water projection type of
Well,
things like they use in Phantasmic and like that one effect they used to have on Pirates of the Caribbean.
hmm
So like I'm very interested. Like I think they are gonna do a good job with that, especially because it's taking over like a classic ride. Um, Next on the agenda. Okay, this one was the most shocking to me. Um, so Josh Tomorrow talks about how last year we got new fireworks shows like Enchantment and Harmonious. And I thought it was funny when he mentioned Enchantment, the crowd was silent. Then when he said Harmonious, a lot of people cheered. But he said that next year, Harmonious is getting replaced for Disney's 100th anniversary, which Tristan, how do you feel about that? Like,
I feel funny because we were they were building
yeah,
such a big show that
yeah,
ended up becoming Harmonious. It was so big that we had to have an interim show between Illuminations and Harmonious. And what they
yeah,
said that those barges, that the fireworks, whatever they
yeah,
are, were like crazy expensive. Maybe they'll end up reusing them. I assume
yeah.
they will. But like they put so much money into this show that was supposed to be this huge thing. What did they bill it as, the biggest fireworks show Disney's ever made, or something like that? And then
So,
they're getting rid of it.
yeah, literally after 2 years. Um, I'm assuming what they're gonna have to do for Disney's 100th is gonna have to be really big on World Showcase Lagoon. Um, I really love this show. I love the music in it. I know I feel like it's had somewhat mixed reviews, but they've been more positive. Like I think there's some like hardcore Epcot stands that really don't stand by it. Like, and I'm an Illuminations lover myself. Epcot's might been my favorite park, and I do miss Illuminations, but I love the music in the show. Um, but hopefully whatever they replace it with. One tiny theory I could have is that like with Happily Ever After coming back, they do share similar music, so maybe that could be why. I I don't know. That has anything to do with it?
That does make, I've never thought about that, but yeah, they do kind of have similar music, don't they?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I don't. I've been reading online that they didn't say during the expo, but supposedly Epcot Forever is going to come back for a little bit next year,
It makes
which
sense if they
which
need to switch out shows. Yeah, but
Honestly, I actually really liked Epcot Forever. I feel like it wasn't super beloved, but like it was only supposed to be a temporary show anyway, and it's going to be temporary again.
yeah,
Um, so I will happily watch Epcot Forever again. But yeah, it's very weird that they're already getting rid of Harmonious. Like, you know, R.I.P.
we're going through fireworks shows like Kleenexes.
I know for real. Like we just got Happily Ever After in 2017, Epcot Forever in 2019, Harmonious, Enchantment, Happily Ever After. It's so I don't even know.
I don't know.
Um, and other Walt Disney World news, we are getting the Hatbox Ghost in our Haunted Mansion. At the Haunted Mansion, the Hatbox Ghost will materialize in 2023 at the Magic Kingdom Park. Tristan, how do you feel about that?
That's cool. It's one of those things I never really knew why they didn't have it already, because it's such an iconic character at Disneyland's. But I'm glad we're getting it. I feel like that might have just been something that maybe would make people go a little bit crazy. Like, maybe that was something
Yeah.
they could fit into D23 announcements, to make it seem like we're doing a lot more exciting things than we really are
Yeah.
over here in Florida anyway, because
Yeah.
Disneyland's getting everything. But
Yeah.
having said that, I'm ready to see it.
Yeah. Sounds pretty cool. For some reason, I never really realized that wasn't a character we had. I don't know. Like, I do love and appreciate the Haunted Mansion. What part of like the mansion is the Hatbox? Is he just in a random scene in Disneyland's? I don't.
I've only ridden Disneyland's once, and I actually don't really remember. I want to say he's in
Yeah.
the attic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently he's a beloved character, so that should be pretty cool. And in more Magic Kingdom news, Josh Tomorrow shows a video of him riding Tron Lightcycle Run and says that we will finally be entering the grid spring 2023. What do we
Finally,
yeah.
finally, the train can reopen.
Oh my God, thank God.
I don't
It,
care about Tron.
yeah, no, me like I am very excited to ride it. But I feel like some people have like been upset with that date of spring 2023. A lot of people were expecting it by the end of the year, but I'm thinking like yes, they've been testing the trains, but if you see what it looks like on the outside currently and with the speed of Disney's construction, that does not surprise me at all. Spring 2023. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe January at the earliest, but
Yeah, but were you expecting that before COVID?
before COVID, I honestly didn't have much thoughts before COVID.
Before COVID, I thought it was going to be with the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, well, I think it was supposed to be with the 50th anniversary. I know they slowed everything, like they like just halted construction once COVID began. Um, and I think 2021 was the earliest it was going to be able to open because of the Shanghai contract.
Yeah,
Um,
something tells me that the 3 month COVID closure isn't
True.
the reason Tron was pushed back a year and a half.
Yeah. Why do you think? Do you have any theories?
I think that it was going to go past its whatever the target date was anyway. A lot of Disney projects seem to do that,
Yeah.
and then they just stop talking about the date that it's going to happen. Because I'm pretty sure Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and I talked about this on a previous episode, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure's grand opening date changed like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was supposed to open in April or no or May 2020. It was supposed to be spring 2020.
Yep.
And then it didn't open until the following October after, a 4 month closure. Um, this is gonna sound like kind of crazy, but I remember I was in Epcot like early 2021, like February or March, and I like overheard a manager talking to some guests about Ratatouille, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's pretty much ready. They're just waiting for a good date." And I think that was before they announced the October 1st opening date. So like that ride had been ready for a while. Um,
Dang.
yeah. Where this one for some reason took forever to build. Is still taking forever to build.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but it's finally going to open spring next year. It's funny. I read some comments online of people being mad that Josh showed off a video of him riding it. Yeah,
To me, that doesn't even really matter, and that's not
yeah,
really that exciting of a thing because you can watch videos of millions of people riding it at Shanghai.
exactly.
They've been riding it for 6 years now, so
Yeah, correct. Speaking of six, the sixth Disney Cruise Line fleet, the Disney Treasure, will set sail in 2024.
this one got me because as of this year, I am now a Disney cruise obsessed person.
Yeah,
I've only been on one, but man, I didn't think it was going to be that great. Disney cruises are wonderful, so super happy to see that.
hmm
Hopefully, that means getting on the Wish will be easier and less expensive.
hopefully.
If like that when the newest one comes out, but that's 2 years away, so we'll see.
Well, it also depends on which cruises are going to New Zealand because apparently for the first time, their Disney Cruise Lines will be setting sail out of Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Sometime starting next year. So that's going to be really, really cool for our Aussie and Kiwi friends all the way over there. Let's see. They talked about some sort of new construction on an island they're making for Disney Cruise Lines.
Yes, that's Lighthouse Point. Basically, it's going to be in comparison to Castaway Cay, which is Disney's other island, Castaway Cay has a few beaches, couple, like buffet style restaurants, and some activities you can do, swimming with stingrays. There's a little scavenger hunt thing you can swim and find underwater things, and a water slide that drops off into the ocean. Super fun, amazing time.
Yeah.
This is going to be more like, dare I say, a village, where there's going to be a lot more buildings that are kind of bigger amenities to be offered, and it's their second private island in the Bahamas. So I'm curious if they're going to have sailings that go to both private islands in the Bahamas, or maybe some sailings will go to one, some will go to the other. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with those islands. Then, yeah, you really are big on the Disney cruise lines. I do love cruises. I'm just kind of very casual about what they do. I feel like in my head, I've always liked the idea of like going to like different countries. I wasn't super big on the idea of cruise lines in their own private islands. Granted, I'm sure you probably still have a lot of fun on them anyway. Sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Shanghai Disney Resort will be the first Disney resort to bring the world of Walt Disney Animation Studios film Zootopia to life. At Zootopia Central Station, guests will find animals going about their daily lives at Zootopia Police Department, which doubles as an entrance for the land's new family attraction. Guests will be greeted by audio animatronic figure of Officer Clawhauser. Officer Clawhauser? I forget. What that animatronic looked really cool.
Ooh, I didn't see it. There's an animatronic that they.
Yeah, they unveiled an animatronic for it, and it looked really cool.
I'll look it up now. Keep talking.
Yeah. I don't really have too much else to say. I feel like this has been in the works for a little while. Curious to see what the ride is going to look like.
I think it's always interesting how long it takes them to put something in. And I actually mentioned this on a previous episode as well. I mean, think about when the Tron remake came out and how that was 2010, I think. 6 years later, they put it in Shanghai Disney. Okay. Moana comes out in 2016. And I think we'll probably end up talking about that.
Yeah,
Lord
we'll talk
when
about
that's opening.
Yeah, we will get to that one.
And Zootopia came out in 2016.
Yeah.
And now that's getting a thing. So it's like, what's with the delay here?
Yeah, something about Disney projects just take a long time to plan and build.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like they do put a lot of work into it, and I feel like especially like they want to put more modern technology in it. And plus, like with like the space that they currently have in the parks, it's also trying to figure out what spaces they can use, probably all the permits they have to get approved to do all the construction, whatever. Are you familiar with Duffy?
I know of his existence, yeah.
Yeah, I think Duffy is a popular Disney character in the Asia parks. They'll have their own 6-episode stop motion animated series on Disney Plus next year. I think they're a park character. I'm sorry to all my fans that are a fan of Duffy. I don't know too much. I'm just kind of scrolling through all these updates. Hong Kong Disneyland will unveil a new statue of Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse near Cinderella Carousel as part of Disney's 100th anniversary celebration. The statue is inspiration of the old story that Walt has said it sparked the idea for the original Disneyland, where he was in a park with his daughters and they were on a carousel, and he thought, I wish there was a place like this where parents can enjoy these things with their kids together. And that's the old story, and they have a really cool looking statue on a bench near the carousel at Hong Kong Disneyland.
You made that sound so like not cool. You're like, yeah, it's a really cool statue of Walt on a bench.
You know,
it's a great piece of history, Tommy. It's at Griffith Park in Los Angeles. The carousel is still there. You can go visit it. And the bench that Walt was sitting on is in Town Square, some part of Town Square in Disneyland.
The things I would do to sit on that bench.
Look at what came from that bench. Theme parks.
Honestly, every theme park.
Every theme park.
Like every theme park to this day has been inspired by what Disneyland has done.
Wherever Walt's butt goes makes history. Kind of like the statue that's going to be at Epcot.
Oh my God, yeah.
It looks like he's sitting on
sitting down in that stat, yeah.
Next.
So there's going to be 3 different Frozen lands appearing in 3 different Disney parks. one in Hong Kong, one in Paris, and then I forget where the other one is. I don't. World of Frozen will be opening in the second half of 2023 at Hong Kong Disneyland, the first of 3 Frozen themed land across Disney parks. World of Frozen will be a blend of Arendelle and the park's natural landscapes on Lantau Island. Disneyland Paris will get one. And the Disneyland Paris is also getting a Tangled themed attraction that won't be a bathroom, so good for them.
For those who don't know, the Magic Kingdom in Florida has just immaculate Tangled theme restrooms.
It really does. And like it literally makes for a beautiful photo. Like they have the photo pass photographers.
It's probably the most popular photo pass spot. Dare I say in Disney World? Definitely in Magic Kingdom if you take the castle out, obviously, but like
yeah. I love Tangled too.
No, so do I. It's great.
Like it might be one of my it's one of my favorite Disney princess movies for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Did you have any thoughts on any of the Frozen or Paris stuff?
No, it'll be cool to see.
It's like I feel like we care more about our domestic parks.
Oh yeah, we do. But it's cool that Frozen because Frozen Ever After is going to be a part of it.
Yeah, which is interesting because Frozen Ever After here was just a re-theme of one of our rides.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that they're rebuilding that.
Yeah, I wonder how similar it's going to be.
Because I felt like they really kind of had to come up with a story to go over that track. Like they didn't have to rebuild that. I feel like they could have done something. I don't know. They did talk more about. I feel like we talked about this on a previous episode. How beginning in 2024, Space Mountain at Tokyo Disneyland is going to go under like a 3-year transformation. They talked a little bit more about that. Nothing really new. So they just talked about it again. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. I actually don't really know what makes that Space Mountain there currently different than the others. I don't know many details on it. But good for them. I mean, I'm sure what they'll do will be cool if it takes 3 years to do.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of things that are taking 3 years to do, so they finally announced that Epcot, Moana's Journey of Water and World Celebration will be complete in late 2023.
Man, that is a long time.
So I just the fact that it's just a section of Epcot that doesn't even have an actual ride is taking just as long as Epic Universe, basically.
If you would have told me that a Moana walkthrough attraction was going to open way later than Cosmic Rewind, I would have said you're nuts.
I mean, I think they did start it after Cosmic Rewind, but
yeah, they did. But like, come on,
it better be the coolest walkthrough I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, the one detail we did talk about it from the previous episode was the big Te-Fiti.
16-foot tall Te-Fiti.
Yeah,
honestly, I feel like it should be bigger than that. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure it'll look really big next to me, but I feel like Te-Fiti was enormous in the movie.
They should have just changed Spaceship Earth into Te-Fiti.
Honestly, yeah,
that's what I think.
That's what that is a thought. All right, now the blue sky part of D23. I got a lot of mixed feelings about this one. So blue sky means they're still like kind of planning. Nothing is official. But they were talking about Dinoland USA over in Disney's Animal Kingdom and what they could do with that. And they brought up Zootopia and Moana as retheming ideas for that land. Tristan, I want to hear what you have to say before I jump into anything.
So first I want to comment on what I think the company was doing. Mm-hmm. I think Disney was honestly just putting that out there to see what the reaction is. Because I think Disney's pretty sick of making these big announcements and doing all these big changes, and then everybody hates it. Enchantment. But so I think that's what they were doing. Now, how do I feel about them actually doing that? Like if that actually ended up happening. As for the Dinoland part, I don't care. Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
put something new in there. Um it'll be a shame to see Dinosaur go if Dinosaur does go.
yeah,
Maybe Dinosaur's kind of off to the side. It's kind of hidden. It's kind of at the
it
edge of the
is.
land.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
kind
they
of
can keep Dinosaur.
they could. I mean, they still have Muppet Vision kicking around in
Like,
its own little courtyard.
and that shouldn't have been there because it goes
Yeah,
Star Tours,
yeah,
Muppets
Mupp-
Land, more
yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah. So
um,
maybe they could keep Dinosaur around.
yeah, so maybe they could do that. Having said that, so I'm cool with anything with Dino Land. However, the whole Rivers of America thing possibly getting turned into what was it, Encanto or villains they were talking about?
Yeah, they were talking Encanto, Coco, and villains.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of
And that
weird.
was beyond Thunder Mountain, is what they were talking about. A whole expansion behind Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. Behind Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, beyond Thunder Mountain.
I wonder if that would still be like within the railroad tracks, like within that
I will.
boundary.
I
Or
watched a video of a guy conceptualizing stuff on how they could do all of that within the railroad tracks, but they would have to like cut out some of the river, which that would take a long time rerouting the river. But then he also came up with a concept that would have Encanto and Coco in the park, but with a section of land that's outside the railroad track for the villains, which could fit story wise of villains being outside the kingdom.
Mhm.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, good
Um,
ideas.
um, and see, I also have a lot of thoughts about Dino Land. There is a certain connection to it that I have that I'm not going to share here. Now, I do think Dinorama, respectfully, garbage. It's very good that they're looking into reimagining that part of the park. But something that kind of doesn't sit super right with me is how a lot of Animal Kingdom's original messaging was animals of the past, present, and mythical. And if they were to get rid of dinosaur, especially, that kind of gets rid of that. Granted, if you take a look at the direction that Disney has gone in the last 10 years, look at what they did to Hollywood Studios. It used to be about the magic of making movies, just kind of got replaced by Star Wars and other random stuff. Epcot still kind of has its messaging, but has a lot of IP put in. Now they're kind of doing that to Animal Kingdom as well. Um, with that being said, I'm sure they could do something cool with it. Like Cosmic Rewind is really cool, like tells a really good Epcot story. Avatar Flight of Passage, that whole land of Pandora actually does tell a really good conservation story that does fit in with Animal Kingdom. Thing with Zootopia though is that the lead Imagineer behind Animal Kingdom has said multiple times that Zootopia does not belong in Animal Kingdom. That is a human story. The animals are proxies for humans. It is not about nature or humans' connection to it.
Can I
Uh,
ask if the
yeah.
Imagineer you're talking about is Joe Rody?
Did I say Joe? I thought I said Joe Rody.
You might have just said the Imagineer. Maybe I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
My dog's
maybe.
being annoying.
But yeah,
However, Joe
yeah,
Rody's not with the company anymore.
yeah, exactly. He's not with the company anymore. So they said, you know what? Screw your vision, Joe Rody.
Yeah.
We're getting Zootopia, which I think a lot of Disney, like there are a lot of Disney fans that think, oh, it makes sense. Animals, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So there are people who like won't really notice that or care, but then there are hardcore idiots like me that do kind of care about that. I actually think Moana is a better fit because like that movie, like she's connected with nature. And I also kind of had an idea in my head, like it'd be cool, if they did Moana stuff, but then kind of made that like an ocean themed kind of land so it can tie into the Nemo musical, which is right next to Dino Land. Because Finding Nemo the musical is just kind of right there in between Asia and Dino Land, not really a part of anything.
So here's the ride. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the ride from the perspective of the crazy grandma
Mm-hmm.
in Moana. And the story here is that you die, your corpse turns into a stingray ghost, and that's it.
Incredible. Yeah, that's a great idea. Funny enough, before they announced this Blue Sky thing, I actually wanted to have a segment on our show where we were going to try to retheme Dino Land ourselves. I think I still want to try that one of these days because I mean
Yeah.
they're still in Blue Sky, they don't know what they're doing. So we'll discuss some ideas maybe on next week's episode what we want to do with Dino Land. Um, so uh, R.I.P. Daddy Seeker, you were good to us. Uh, sad to see you go if you are going, but I think despite some of the things I'm saying, I think whatever they do with it is going to be really cool. But with the rate of Disney construction these days, it's going to be years before we see anything even happen at this point.
Definitely.
So back to the Magic Kingdom though. I'm definitely very interested in what they're doing with Coco and Encanto. I know they talked about going into Casita and seeing what's behind all the doors in the house. Now, I have said like since I've seen Encanto, Casita needs to be a trackless dark ride. Um, I also felt like it would be cool if they put a Columbia Pavilion at Epcot and maybe did it there. I mean, that'd be two trackless dark rides in the World Showcase, but they'd both be really cool and different anyway. Um, based on like, it's kind of the thing that I find weird about Beyond Thunder Mountain is that it would make the park layout really weird. It would like create a really big dead end. And one of the good things about the Magic Kingdom is how it has that really good circular layout. Like,
since Disney loves getting rid of beloved attractions, putting stupid things in their place, you know what already has a bunch of doors?
what?
The Haunted Mansion.
Okay. Right after they announced the Hatbox Ghost.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, there was like there was a rumor, like I mean, like I think there was like an article like months ago, maybe in a year, that Lin-Manuel Miranda was coming up with concepts for an Encanto ride, and I didn't totally read into it, but some people said that it would have involved retheming the Haunted Mansion, which respectfully, no, don't do that. Trackless dark ride, brand new. Coco Village, I would love to see that. Everyone says they gotta retheme Three Caballeros into Coco. Nope, I have a whole reason why they shouldn't do that. We only have 2 minutes and 46 seconds left before Zoom kicks us out.
Well,
But either way, I'm very excited about the prospects and also the villains part. I think.
Yeah, people have been bringing that up, the whole villains theme park thing. That's been a rumor for so long. I didn't personally think anything's going to come from it. So we'll see what happens with this. But to close this out, because you never brought this up, Tommy, so I figured this is actually a nice way to end the episode out here. They did make some announcements about Disney's 100th anniversary. Let's let that sink in.
Yeah,
the company's going to be 100 years old.
That is wild.
Next year.
All started with a mouse.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some cool stuff there. I know they're updating. What is it here? Wonderful World of Color.
Yeah.
1 is coming out in January at Disneyland. 100 Years of Wonder is going to be all around all the international parks, all the parks, but based in Disneyland.
Yeah.
So anyway, so cool stuff there. D23, man, this was a doozy. I heard a couple people say that D23 was kind of a letdown this year. I completely disagree. I think D23 was full of craziness.
Yeah, no, it was definitely full of craziness. I feel like some people, because Universal is working on Epic Universe right now, everyone's like, oh, what's Disney going to come out with? They're going to have to come out with a 5th theme park and everything. Like, I don't think Disney really needs to do that. Like, whenever Epic Universe does actually open, if that does start to actually hurt Disney, maybe Disney will like start to pick, oh, we got to do something. But they don't need to. And like, I was very entertained by the whole conference. Like, I think Josh D'Amaro is he has a very good stage presence and like speaking. So like it was very easy to watch for the entire 2 hours of it. I was on the edge of my seat.
All right. Follow us on social media.
Yep. Zoom's about to kick us out. Thank you guys for listening to. If you have anything else to say about D23 or anything else you want to hear us talk about on the next episode, let us know in the comment section down below. Maybe if you have any Dino Land retheme ideas, you can let us know as well. Please remain seated.
Yeah.